The good old orange. Dear! Oh, I got it stuck. Give me a moment. I'll get it out.
What the hell is the world coming to?
Alright, cryptids, what is going on? It is me, Mississippi Gonzo Grown, JK Rip Redcorn, and today we are looking at the Pfister Comet as a part of the off-road review collection, so I figured why not kick it off with the original, the one that started it all, because it just so happened to cross me in story mode, and I'm like, okay, I'll grab it. It is based off of the classic Porsche 1911, and I say that this is a classic because it's been in just about every GTA game. I can't really tell you about the original top-down versions, as I don't know if it was in those or not. I do know it was in 3, Vice City, and San Andreas. It was kind of one of those cars that it was sought after, but you know, hey, who knows? Maybe I'll do a San Andreas off-road review. That would actually be fun, and I got the original on PS2. So that means it still has all the music tracks in it. I don't have the definitive edition. That one was complete cheeks. Yeah, I said it. The definitive version of those games are cheeks. They kind of feel like crappy mobile games. Yeah, that's the other thing about this one is it does lose traction very easily. But it can't climb stuff. It can't climb up these rocks. But, you know, this is a sports car. You know, for a lot of you, it was your first race car. Some people were... Funny enough, I remember being in all kinds of races, and people would have these and the LGs, the GTR cars that you got for free if you had the collector's edition or the special edition. Well, they're free for everybody now. I'll just say that. They're free for everybody now. Yeah, this thing doesn't like deep water at all. But, you know, it is what it is. I used to have all kinds of different ways I would do these review trails just to show off how good these vehicles were. I will say this, it'd be crazy if Rockstar added in another... Well, we already got enough Comets as it is. Well, there is one car that's going to be added in it, and that's the Growler. So, yeah. The Growler will be the one added into this. But then again, mostly when I do those online sessions that you see me recording, we're talking about all kinds of goofiness. Those are just usually me just grinding, just so that way I can get cool cars. But then again, I can make $2 million in this game, you know, hand over fist. You know, outside of the Calle Parinko heist and the... Okay, I'm not really sure why it went to window mode for a moment. But, you know, I'm not sure why. Okay, I should have had a little bit more speed coming up this. But yeah, we'll hop over most of the logs in this game, as long as you have up enough speed. But in terms of traction, if you can hold momentum, it does fine. But this car has very little traction, even with off-road tires. You know, that's always been the downside of this car. But yeah, as I was saying, you know, a lot of y'all used to race these back in the day. So you might have a nostalgic feeling watching this. Sometimes you got to get creative with the, you know, with how you do the Wall of Doom. The Wall of Doom has claimed many cars. You know, maybe I should have made that into a compilation, the Wall of Doom, and how many cars it's claimed. It's claimed a lot of them. I'm probably going to be doing another off-road review collection. Because I don't want to be making reviews all the time. Because I want to do other content. But, you know, come 2025, I'll be doing other types of content. Which, that's a plus. There she goes. Look at her go. But yeah, it was always this and the LG, which is the GTR car in this game, that everybody was always racing with. Which I thought was funny because they would see me pull up in that Buffalo S. And nobody else would have it, and I'm just right there smoking everybody. But that was back when the races were still wild, and if you were racing randoms back then and winning, you were going to be dealing with randoms getting all kinds of mad. Like, I'm going to kick him if he wins. I'm like, go ahead and kick me, loser. It was funny because, like, all those kids now are now grown. It was crazy getting into a lobby, like, back in the day. Like, back in the GTA lobbies, it was crazy. Like, on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, because it was, like, all a bunch of little kids. Which, according to Slade, it's still like that on the Xbox Series S. Well, Series X. He has the X. But in my, you know, being that I'm on PC, because I absolutely refuse to do any sort of console stuff outside of retro. This one is, there's a lot of grown people on this one. You know, weird teenagers and grown people. You know, most of the lobbies you go into are chill unless you run into, like, those crazy, you know, the oppressor gangs, which I have yet to see one. I take that back. That Buffalo STX Activities video was by far the wildest encounters I have ever had with tryhards. But now the playing field has been leveled. But anyway, I don't think y'all want to hear me rant on about that, but you know. In terms of racing, will this car win you any races this day and age? No, it doesn't. But it is still one of those classic cars that you just have in your garage for nostalgia. And some of you might actually have one of these in your garage right now. But other than that, on to the next Comet variation. So, we jump to that. Excuse me, we jump to that one. Sorry, I got the hiccups. I'm going to go get some water. So here we are with the next vehicle, a part of the Comet collection, which is the Comet Safari, which is based off of a Porsche 1911. Well, we already know this at this point. Well, this is based off the rally version that was made some time ago, which, yes, people actually did rally race these too. But I finally got this one. This one was a part of a auto salvage robbery set, and it was claimable. So, yeah, all I had to do was pay $10,000, I believe it was, and I got this one, and I also got the Click because I needed those particular vehicles for movie purposes. This one I wanted for off-road, but also it does make a decent off-road racer. So, funny enough, I want to say you can also race this one in the sports class. I want to say that I did at one point, but I think it's strictly off-road SUV only. But it will get across whatever you put it up against. I mean, just climbs up over everything. It's just a natural billy goat. So there's that. Just a bunch. It's that great. And yeah, it does have a front differential, as you can see. If I can get it out of the weeds. There it is. There it is. Ooh, don't go that way. Well, I don't see the meth heads out fishing, so I guess it's all good at this point. So here we go. And deep water, I believe it will take on deep water. Yes, it does. I just wouldn't stay in the deep water for too long with this particular vehicle. But, you know, such as it is. I do have another Comet that I am going to be doing today. Well, at the time of this, because whenever all these videos go up, these collection videos go up, they were just whenever I felt like recording them. But I finally got the wide body version, which, you know, I was able to actually get a Comet, just a regular bone stock Comet, which, if you want to know how to get one, either one, wait for it to come up at Yosemite's. You get it? Yeah, just wait for it to come up at Simeon's. Or, now you can climb up that. How I got it was through the auto shop. So if you have an auto shop and you have both lifts, then it will pop up eventually. You know, it just took me a while to get one to pop up because I'm like, I really want to review that one because I've never reviewed that type before. So there is that. But, you know, I might go back and record this separately just so that way I'll have, you know, a different sort of view. I don't know yet. But, you know, it is what it is. I try to keep these vehicles as spaced out as possible. And I will be heading back to the salvage yard to be collecting another vehicle. Because that's just how I do most of that stuff anyway. space it out, get another one, space it out, get another one. One comes up, go grab another one, you know, crap like that. But this is actually a really good off-roader, you know, for the Comet. You know, this is kind of like the off-road variant of the Comet, and it was kind of like a run and gag me and Slade made. It's like GTA is going to release a Comet that can fly. Just give it time. They'll release a Pfister Comet. And that one's going to be flying. It's going to take out oppressors and deluxos and all kinds of other crap. But yes, it will actually get. Like I said, dirt roads it gets, but it just has one little problem. For some reason, it has this weird camera angle. I'm not sure why that is. You know, I'm not sure what Rockstar was thinking, but, you know, it's Rockstar. I really don't care what they do at this point. So, will this actually become claimable again? I don't know. Rockstar's been kind of stingy with it as of late, and it's like, come on, just give us some claimable vehicles. You know, I don't even care if it's just some unknown supercar. Oh, can we not have what happened with the Hellion? Yeah, for those of y'all wondering, yeah, I recorded the Hellion, and shenanigans happened. Such as that. Stop, please, thank you. Busted out my windows. Yeah, this thing's always been kind of a challenge to get up, but, you know, it ain't gonna beat me down. Just gotta learn to take it nice and easy. Nice and easy. But yeah, this thing will absolutely get up over everything you throw at it. And it will do just that. No, please, can you stop? Comet, stop. Thank you. Okay, let's not go that way. Let's not. I'm gonna go. Comet, you're making me look like a buffoon. You're making me look like Buford T. Justice. Please stop. But once I get up this, I will be going on to the next Comet. That's what I'm going to do. Come on, get across it. There she goes. There she goes. That's where she's going. But, you know, still, if you want one of these, you know, just hope it scrolls. It is available on the website, but I got mine cheap as hell through the auto shop. Well, not through the salvage yard robberies. That's where I got mine for cheap. You know, and plus that, for those of you asking, well, how can you claim it through the auto shop? Just make sure you have the document forgery stuff. You know, the biker business. Make sure you have all the document forgery stuff, because that comes in handy. Which they should do more of that. It's like, come on, put a car up there that it just makes me want to grab it. So I got this one, and I did get the click, but, you know, such as it is. Dirt roads, it takes it, it loves the dirt roads, you know. It is top heavy, so do watch out. Customization-wise, it could have been slightly better, but hey, I'm not going to complain. You know, it is based off the old rally Porsche from back in the day, which, you know, Porsche don't make rally cars anymore. You know, it would be nice to see a Porsche rally car again. Well, I mean, they've made Ferrari and Lamborghini ones, but that's beside the point. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut to the next Comet. So, here we go. Alright, so here I am with the next Comet, the Comet Retro Custom. As you can tell, this one is a Benny's vehicle. Not exactly cheap to get, but, you know, still. But like I said, the only way to get this is if you have the other, you have to have the Comet, and you have to be able to, you know, and you take it directly into Benny's. You know, this one's not on the cheap side to actually customize, but it is what it is. Oh, it also pops wheelies underwater. That's a plus. But yeah, this one, I've always had one of these in my garage back on the PS4 whenever these became available. So I just had one, and we originally called it my autocross car, you know, just the track hugger. Because that's just what this car did. This is what this thing was good at. You know, they could have done, what I say, they could have done a better job with it. I'm not going to complain, you know. It's a Benny's car. Some people tend to complain, but it's like, hey, it is what it is. But yeah, I did put off-road tires on this because I am going to go you know, I put the cheap ones on it. If I know I'm going to be using it for, you know, something like this, then, you know, I'm going to slap the cheapest rims on it. Because I'm going to go put some track... I'm probably going to put the track or the street tires on it later. I don't know how this thing handles deep water, but, you know, whatever. You know, I'm not going to find out if it takes on deep water like it's supposed to be doing, but, you know, still. But, such as it is. Come on, that's it. Nice and easy. Get off that rock. But, you know, this is my first time off-roading this vehicle, too. And it's like, well, why couldn't you just make individual reviews? Well, I'm trying to cut back on the amount of off-road reviews I do, because a lot of them just don't gain the attention that they used to do. You know, this ain't the old days anymore. Sorry, OG fans, but, you know, still. So, that's where we're at. Now, in terms of what I've actually like about this car, is that, you know, it just has this classic look. You know, it is a wide-body type car, which I believe is supposed to be based off of the RWB stuff. Which, it's actually kind of funny because some people are hating on that guy, but even he's sitting there going, that tow hook was for a photo shoot at request of the owner. This one might be a little bit fun to get across. Yeah, this one's definitely going to be a fun one to get across, but I think I can actually do it. No, don't go that way. That's it. Get across. Whew. That was a close one. I didn't think I was going to make it at that point. But then again, I don't think I ever reviewed this car on the old channel. Now, I will say this. I am going to be doing other collections too, just because I am just trying to get a bunch of vehicles out of the way in one go. So, you know, do understand that. So, I know I got another vehicle to review, and that will be about it. But in terms of, you know, the other Comets, yeah, I'm getting those ready. You know, I almost got them ready as it is. You know, that's the other thing about it. This thing's got some ridiculous amount of traction. Doesn't matter. This thing's got the traction to match. But, you know, in terms of traction, but what it does not have is the steering. Because if you get this thing going fast enough, it understeers. You have no steering. Such as that. And you crash into trees and off in the ditches and everything else. So that's really some of my pros about it is that, you know, it's quick. You know, not the quickest or the fastest, but, you know, it can get you places if you really wanted to. It's nostalgic. As I got it stuck, but that's beside the point. But nostalgic. Oh, is that? No, that's the fuel tank. The engine's in the rear. At least that's what I think it is, though. But, you know, we can always check that out. Let's see. Would you stop that? Manage vehicles. Thank you. Yeah, there it is. That's what that is. That's all the fuel tank crap and everything else. But there's the motor. It's air-cooled, just like the originals. But for some reason, this one seems a little bit weird and liquid-cooled. But, you know, that's beside the point. I'm just going to end it right here. You know, this thing will climb hills, but, you know, in terms of rallying, yeah, massive, a good amount of understeer whenever you hit certain speeds. But it does have great traction. Great traction and great brakes, excuse me. So other than that, we're going to go on ahead and jump into the next Comet. So here we go. Alright, so here we are with the Comet SR, by far one of my personal favorite Comets. Mostly because it is a race-ready standard Comet, but, you know, basically it's a Porsche. Basically just imagine a Comet, but with, you know, more upgrades added to it. So now we get to look into it, and I did put on the classic rally wheels for it, because why not? So, yeah, now we're going to see how well it does in the off-road review. So, yeah, like I said, this is one of my personal favorites because, you know, it's basically one of those cars that you play around with once and you're like, I gotta have it. It was this one and the Comet SR. No, this is the SR, the S2, I believe it's called. Because I got the S2 just in, you know, convertible format. Which some of y'all asking, well, did you review both of them? Well, no, just a convertible one. Why is that? Well, because for one, they perform the same, but that's beside the point. Other than that, this one's actually really surprising me so far. It's surprising me. It's got everything, you know, you could want. You know, it's pretty damn quick, too. But are you going to win races with it? I don't know. It's been a while since I've actually done any GTA races. You know, I could tell you about certain vehicles winning races, but this thing, that's a good question. But, you know, still, I got a bunch of other vehicles to review. You know, I'm just getting the collection done just so that way I can, you know, finish it out. Basically, finish everything out for the year, do the final stuff, get that over said and done with, and be done. Because, A, there is that snowdrift coming in, and I don't want to review vehicles in the snow. I could just go back and remake my old test track, but, you know, time. So there it is, up and over, nice and easy she goes. And we'll get to see how well she does around the Wall of Doom, because I did see all the other stuff. I mean, it sticks. I will give it credit. This thing will actually stick to everything. There's quite a few of the Comets that they do just stick to everything, this being one of them. Which is probably why I like it, because, you know, it sticks to everything. And mind you, I'm using track tires. Do I need off-road tires to off-road? It makes it easier. But I figured, you know, why not just show off what I can do? Nice and easy, up and over. But now we get to check out its speed capabilities. There she goes. And that's me pulling a twist. I'm going to land on the roof. And surprisingly, I didn't I knocked the door off the hinges. Now let's see how well she does. Because what I notice is this car does, you know, tend to lock up steering on the dirt. So, you know, do mind your brakes. Do mind your brakes and do mind your throttle. That's the one thing I'll say about it. Do mind the brakes and the throttle. Because if you really want to drive on dirt in this game and get away from people, it's real easy to do because most people don't know how to drive on dirt in this game. And it's funny when they see me do it and they're like, how do you do it so easily? And it's like, years of practice. That's usually the first thing I do in any GTA game. Drive on the dirt and then it just becomes, you know, flat easy. I mean, that's like when I first got San Andreas. I wanted to go find dirt roads to hit. And that's what I did. Find a car that you can easily control and just go hit it. And then it was funny that, well, you know, that's beside the point. But, you know, so far on dirt, this is by far one of the most surprising cars I have driven on dirt. You know, and there's a lot of the sports cars, they actually handle quite well on dirt when you put the right set of tires and grip on them. But that's enough about that. You know, overall, it's not a half bad off-roader, but it's not the greatest either. Rally bombing, by far, it's really good. It surprises me. So, that'll be about it. That's me hitting a rabbit, and that's me almost completely losing it. So, that's beside the point. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into the final Comets. The final Comet of the collection, so here you go. Okay, so this is the Comet S2 Cabrio, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, it's a convertible, as you can see. As you can see, this is the convertible. Now, there is another one, you know, pretty much hardtop convertible. I wanted the convertible one because, you know, back when I first got the trying to think what the name of it was.
Ah, yes, the agency. There was one of the missions where you had to go regather up some, gather up some stuff. Pretty much just go get like one of the cars for the vehicle assets. So yeah, one of the missions for the vehicle assets was, hey, recover this vehicle, and it was this one I drove in. I'm like, you know what? I actually want one of these now. So I got it. So yeah, I kind of had it. It's pretty much a showpiece. Take it to a few car shows and online. Do all that. But we're going to see how well it does off-road, as this is the final part of the Comets collection. I figured, hey, why not do one? I figured, yeah, finally get this particular one done. It actually feels good to actually get most of this stuff done. And get the last few collection videos done that's been in the Hyper since 2024. This is the final one there. There's quite a few of them. I have no clue what that deer is doing, and I don't particularly care to know. Ooh, goodness. Let's not do that. By far, it's like a personal favorite. One of those vehicles that you just play around with, and then, it's like, oh, I actually like this now. I don't have very many convertibles, so yeah. I figured, why not get this one? There is the other one that it's pretty much just the same carbon and hardtop format. Didn't particularly care for it. I just like this one a bit more. So it's like, if you're wondering why I didn't showcase that one, well, pretty much they both handle the same, perform the same. It's just personal preference. But we all know what the car's based off of. It's based off of a Porsche 1911 style car. Because that's what Pfister is. It's basically Porsche in game. So there is that. All kinds of stuff, really. So far, it's surprising me off-road. I still got a bunch of other collection videos to do, but I'm saving all those until 2026. Might be bad? Nah, it's not bad. It actually, pretty much, it just did just that. I mean, it's surprising me. There's a lot of sports cars that surprise me, and that's one of those crack-headed deer. I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if it's sunbathing or what. That's got a pretty good rack on it. Imagine seeing someone pull up in like one of these new Porsches and they have a deer strapped to the hood. Because let's face it, most of these cars, the motor is in the rear. And that's just the beautiful thing about Porsche. A lot of their stuff's in the rear, but it's also... I want to say all the new stuff is liquid cooled. It's been a while since I've kept up with anything Porsche did. So, yeah, pretty much, yeah, finally, getting around to finishing up some of these 2024 collection reviews. There's some of them I'm just kind of PO'd at because the files got corrupted from a last update. So far on dirt, it actually performs quite nicely, but you can feel the brakes lock up in certain corners. It feels nice on dirt, but when you go to hit the brake, you can feel the brakes actually lock up and wipe out old Caprice station wagons. But that's beside the point. They really should put some of those donk style Caprices in there. I'm not going to stick around here too long. This is during the Christmas crap. So I don't want to, find out if the Yeti's lurking about in the bush somewhere. Because that's what's going to happen. You don't want to find out. I don't want to stick around and find out anyway. I don't want to know where the Yeti is hiding. The abominable snowman. He'll just hop out of the bushes and flip the car over. So, yeah, there is that. Up and over, around we go. That's the other thing, too. Even though I don't have off-road tires on this, it still performs decently off-roading. See? Not bad. I'm going to put the top back up. Put the top back up, please, and thank you. So there it is. Top's back up. And please, I thought it was going to climb it there for a moment, but I guess not. Well, I'm just going to bypass it. Yeah, we're just going to straight up bypass that, because, you know, why not? However, I did have a bigger off-road review made, well, collection. It was going to be on the Bravado Buffalo. But since we're getting 2 new ones, I figured, you know what, why not wait until those cars drop and then do the reviews then, and then just film it all in one shot. Which I normally do. Plus that I like to film the police cars at night because, you know, you can see the siren lights a bit better. So it's like, oh goody, we get a police Hellcat and a newer Charger. But, you know, still, I think it'd be funny to actually get one of those, the brush guards off the police Chargers and stick it on a Hellcat, and plus with the spotlight, just to scare the absolute fuck out of people. But you'd probably get shot at. It'd be scary as hell for some people. There she goes, right around the way. Yeah, so far as its rally capabilities go, it's you know, I mean, this one compared to the Comet Safari, I mean, the Safari performs a bit better. But in terms of speed, nah, this one's got it beat. As you can tell, I got it all the way roided out. But I'm going to stop right down here just to go ahead and end this, because this is a collection video. And that's where I usually tend to stop these at. So far as its brakes go, the handbrake, kind of iffy. But this is where I'll leave y'all off. Now then, be sure to shoot the like button with your skiddly if you enjoyed it. Please do comment down below your favorite Comet in the game. And as always, I'll be seeing y'all around. I thank you for tuning in for the collection, the final collection of 2025. Thank you all for chiming in, and I'll be seeing y'all around. Now then, do smash the subscribe button today and click the notification bell icon to stay up to date when I go live, because I do normally live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. But since it is during the 12 days of Christmas streams and we're on the final stretch, yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, streams normally Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. Now then, y'all have a great day and a balling weekend. Don't do anything stupid, and Merry Christmas to all of you out there. So thank you all, and good night.